liners are here. I'm Anita from Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly with My Soulful Home.
We've got tips and tricks and decorating advice for you today, so let's get started.
Hi, everybody. This is episode 37. Today, we're going to talk about shades, blinds, and shutters.
Ooh, lots to say. Mm-hmm.
Lots and lots to cover. We'll see how...
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of funny, isn't it? But we'll see.
I
didn't mean to do that.
Hey, no pun intended.
I didn't mean that. Let's dive into shades, blinds, and shutters. Who's got them? What do you love? And what would you do again? Maybe what would you not do again in the shades, blinds, and shutters category?
Well, for me, I had plantation shutters everywhere, which I do love. I think they're so beautiful, and I still love plantation shutters, but they do cut out a good bit of light, even when you have the louvers opened.
Now,
So
where did you have those, Anita?
Well, I had them in every window of my house, in my old house.
In the old house. Okay.
Yeah, in the old house. So, I mean, I love the look. I still think they're beautiful, and I think if you have them, I mean, there's no need to not have them. I mean, they're gorgeous, but I really crave that light coming in my house, and they just don't, some of them swing open, but some of them don't. So with this house, I ended up doing the bamboo shades that are cordless, so there's no cord in the way. You just kind of move them up where you want them or move them down. You just let go with your hand, and
That's where they stay.
Are gorgeous. These are my absolute favorite window covering. They're very practical. You can get any kind of liner. And
Okay, let's just back up
and
since you brought up. Okay.
I was just going to say these, and these are from Bally.
Oh.
Bally blinds.
Oh,
because
that's good to know.
They are amazing. So if that's where if you want these, go check them out. Go check out my blog, and they're just gorgeous.
Can I ask you, they come with a liner? A bamboo
Right. Well,
blind?
you can get whatever kind of liner you want. You can get no liner. You can get a blackout liner. You can get, just a little bit to block a little bit of sun. I mean,
a
you can get
filter,
however you
like
want.
a filtering
Yes,
liner?
yes.
Oh, yeah. So you can actually use these beautiful bamboo blinds then in your bedroom.
Well,
if you
I
want
did.
something that was a blackout.
Yes, and ours are the blackout ones in the bedroom.
Oh, how wonderful. Good to know.
Let's just go back a minute to the plantation shutters since you brought those up first. Let's just, like, for people who may or may not know. So plantation shutters are wood, and they have a frame around them.
Sometimes they're not wood, though. Some of the newer ones are actually a composite.
Okay, but
when you look at them, they look like wood.
Right, so
and they can be painted
they're
wood.
solid. Right.
They can be stained or painted.
Right. And then they have a little mechanism in the middle that kind of
Opens or closes a
A
louver.
louver.
opens or
Yep.
close them. Okay, and then sometimes you can actually open them like shutters, right? Pull them
Yes.
back and fold them back.
Swing them
My
open.
mom had those in her house in Naples, Florida, and they were stunning. But that house was very bright anyway. They had a lot of sliding doors and things like that, and very high ceilings. So they were actually probably more decorative, although they did block the light in the bedrooms. I think of plantation shutters as a more southern and almost Caribbean kind of look, like
I am in the
Key
South.
West, all of that kind of look. What do you think?
Well, I'm in the South, but yes, it is a southern look. But we're in Texas, so I love that. So
Right. No, I do too. I'm just saying for people that maybe live in other parts of the country, maybe they're
I
not
think they're
as
popular
familiar.
everywhere, though.
I
don't
do
think
too.
it's just a southern thing.
And I
Okay.
think also it's your decor. If you
traditional.
like maybe, they are traditional, classic, colonial. We have a very big influence of Williamsburg, and Philadelphia has a lot of colonial influence, and people use those in lieu of just the regular shutters that were popular, during the Revolutionary War. They're not authentic, but it's a very nice look in lieu of just the regular louvered shutter.
Right. Okay. And you can dress them with fabric curtains on either side as well, or you can just leave them plain because they are so pretty on their
Well,
own.
I think with any of these shades or blinds, you can use the curtains just for a decorative purposes. You don't have to have the all my curtains, I don't ever close them because I have the bamboo shades on the windows.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
and then the bamboo shades. So let's go a little further into them. So is it actual bamboo, or is it another kind of natural woven that you have?
Well, I mean, they call them natural. I'm not sure. They sure look like bamboo to me, but I was not able to confirm with them because they call them their natural woven shades.
Right.
I have them in my windows too, and they are my favorite.
I have natural woven as well. And then there's also the matchstick, which I think is more of a style. It's very thin.
Oh, yeah, that's a different look. Mine's
So it's all kind of in that natural woven.
And mine too, I have to say, it has a lot of gray in it, which is almost impossible to get with a bamboo shade. So,
I'm going to have to check the Bali out then. I haven't seen that.
So if you want that color, I've got it all. I'll have it in the show notes to link to the color that I used and everything. Mm-hmm.
I have those types of shades as well. I have them in my living room, and we just had them installed in the bedroom. So the living room are the regular functioning with the cord on the one side, and they go down or up. But in the bedroom, because it's a bit of a darker room, it's north facing, so I wanted to have as much light as possible, but privacy. I did I always say it backwards or inside out. It's up, down, up. And then I was saying,
I know it. So you're talking about those. Well, let's see. What do you call them? They're shades, but you can pull them. They can come down from the top or up from the bottom, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm looking for those for my master bath.
It is
so those are nice if you have like a bathroom and you want the light in, but you don't want people
Exactly.
You want a little
out the bottom of the
privacy?
window.
That's right.
More privacy.
And
right.
that's what we have. We have 2 windows in the master, and then the bathroom is right next to it. And so there's one big window in there, and the windows are super tall. So if I had to have them closed all the time because you're in the shower or because you're changing, it's very dark in the room. So this way, I can bring them down halfway I just meet it at the sash, so it looks nice and tidy from the inside and the outside, and you can have the whole up is exposed, and there's no center line or anything. It's just they're on 2 sets of cords, so one side is the up side and one side is the up to down, and the other one is the down to up side.
And that's a natural like a bamboo?
Yeah, it's the
I love that.
It's not really bamboo. It's like a bit of a thicker wood, and it's in a really dark brown, like almost bordering like an ebony, like a walnutty.
Gotcha.
What I want to mention too while you're talking about this is if you're buying shades, really consider the cordless ones, because whatever brand you're buying, really consider those. You don't have the mess of that cord pooling on the floor if you pull them up. And also, it really is a hazard for pets or for small children. So, and just from the designer decorator in me can't stand that pooled, cord on the floor. So
and I
really,
have those.
That's really something to think about.
And then I do have those that have that cord that pulls. Now you get a little like a little toggle with it that you can latch your cord onto.
Yeah, maybe you can tie it up. That's helpful.
Yes,
yeah.
but
it's
that's something that drives me insane as well.
I know. I think it drives everyone insane. That's what I'm saying.
I
love
have
it.
to say, we did have these installed because with the down, up, down thing, I mean, there was no way. That was beyond Peter and I's DIY-ish thing with the blinds. Like, I can put up a curtain rod, but I didn't want to mess with this mechanism and all of that. Yeah. So I had someone install them. And he's been here before, nice guy. I was busy doing something else. And so he said, I'm done. I went up. Oh, it was like there were marionettes on my windows. There were so many strings. And I thought, oh, great. Okay. Like, this is going to take a little getting used to.
You have to have a manual to know how to use them.
And you didn't need all that. And he gave me like 2 toggles on one side and 1 on the other. And I was like, good thing I know how to fill and sand and paint a little, because I don't need all those toggles. So I said, and even Peter, who never says anything, was like, wow, that's a lot of strings. I was like,
well, that's what I'm talking about. I mean,
yeah,
that's
but now that I
consider.
figured out the way I like to work them, we've had them for about maybe a week to 10 days. Now I know how they're going to function for me. What I did was I just neatly, sort of tied up the one side that I'm not going to use that often. And then I put a little twisty tie on it, and I tucked it up into the header.
Oh, you smart girl.
So you don't see it. And I did that in my living room and dining room in the last house too, because particularly in those rooms, I really never moved the shades. They were, they stayed where they were, and that was the end of the day. So I just took the cords and stuck them up the top.
Okay.
That was
that's
smart.
Yeah, that's nice.
But I have to say, there is a balance, because the up, down, up, you are going to see the cords, because that's how they pulls the thing back up and down. So do be aware of that. But it really is so functional for my bedroom that I had to go for
or
it.
a bathroom. I
And
think
there
they're very
is an
functional.
upside and a downside to everything. I couldn't help it.
So in our bathroom at the farm, I
was good.
couldn't see out because I just had the half cafe curtain and it's kind of a tall up window. So I just took the curtain off. I got in trouble with Kevin because he was saying people can see in, and I'm saying if someone can see in that window, they're trespassing. Because
God bless them if they want to look. Go ahead.
Exactly. I'm thinking, good, if you're really sick, if you want to see it here.
And
I'm
you
thinking-
know, where I live, you know, we just have so much farmland around us. And now in the front of our house, we have a street. So, you know, we're very cautious about that. But in the back of the house, I never close up anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's that's all our
Yeah.
property. You can't see in that window unless you're on our property, and it's up so high on the hill. You can't see anything.
Mom, what kind of shades do you have?
I mostly have the wooden blinds, but I don't have they're not as sophisticated as yours. As we replace them, we have so many windows in this house. I needed to put something that was stylish but inexpensive. And I just went to my big, like Lowe's store. That's where I got them. And you can have them cut and you can have them put up. They're light filtering. And we installed them ourselves. Now, as we are redoing our bedrooms and redoing things, I'm opting for the maybe better quality or fancier, I would say, because the ones that we had that we installed ourselves, they work perfectly fine. There's only one room that we have something different because it's in the front of the house. It's our gable guest room. It has a big gable, and we have cellular shades. Some people know them as honeycomb, and I think I actually looked this up. They're the most popular kind of blinds that people have, and the reason why we chose that is and we may actually replace them if they have light blocking or block out natural blinds, because they retract all the way up into our molding around our windows, and we can pull them down. And it's just because of the gable and the shape of the windows, it looks odd if anything's sort of hanging at all.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. It's
And they need to
challenging
be
when you have
block
odd
out.
windows. Yeah.
Yeah, and they needed to be block out, so those are custom. And because we get the morning light, and it was just like people in bed, they'd be waking up as soon as the sun rose because it's pretty sunny in that room. But for the rest of the house, I just have beautiful organic.
That reminds me of something. My parents, at one point, they were building a house, but they had sold their house already. So we were in a rental house, and I must have been maybe at the end of law school or something. So I was definitely still coming home, for the summers and stuff. And so I came home to this house that, was just like a 3-month rental until their house was finished. Construction is never done when you think it's going to be done, right? So I was sleeping in this room, and it had this beautiful arched window, which looked great until you were sleeping there. And then it was like, remember in like Close Encounters when that beam of light came down and like sucked them up to the mothership?
Yes.
And I swear that's what happened
Yes.
to me. Like all of a sudden this shaft of light was on me. I was like, whoa.
And
Just
what was
I was levitated out of the bed and taken to a
No,
foreign
really, you
land.
jumped out of the bed.
Oh, it was so awful. But, we just had to, just kind of had to roll over and put the pillow over my head because there was no way my mom was going to invest in what you did in your house to block the light.
And that's exactly what would happen to our guests. And I didn't want to do that to our guests.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They wouldn't have
that's
stayed long.
Well, maybe some people, yes, some people no.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so now let's talk about, we've covered some of the variations on materials and types. Now, what about inside mount, outside mount?
Well, I mean, I think if you do the outside mount, it does help your window look larger. But if you have some trim around it, you're going to have to take that trim down or
Work outside. Well, you can work on the trim, but I don't think it looks as nice,
Yeah, so,
especially
I mean,
if you
but I
have
have
beautiful
nice-
trim.
I have nice trim that I really love because I have a craftsman style house. So I did inside mount on all of my windows.
Right.
But that's something you can do if you don't have decorative trim. Put it up high above, and then you can have a valance or something up to the top of that and make it look nice.
Yeah. Yeah, there are definitely options. I think there are also some restrictions with the type of shades, blinds, or shutters that you choose, whether or not it can be an inside mount. There has to be a certain amount of depth. I know for these ones that I was just talking about, the up and down ones, you had to have at least, I think it was a minimum of half an inch. So one of mine is fine. You know, I have these super old windows. One of mine is super deep, like 8 inches, and the other one barely made it.
And
so
this is all in the same room?
Yeah.
But your old house is old, that's why.
Oh, yeah. The windows are 131 years old, and I can't change those because they're the front of the house, and because the house is on the National Register.
You have to be careful what you do.
Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add Dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health. Potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. It's a little aside, but it has to do with windows. It's a company called Indo, and they make these inserts for windows, which is almost like, a double paned sort of thing, or, replace a storm window. And I was sent a set of these to try out for my master bedroom, and they're fantastic.
Put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I will. I'll put the link in the show notes. It's just, it's sort of in the penumbra of our topic today, so I wanted to mention it because it's really great, especially if you have super old windows that you don't want to spend the money to replace or you can't replace for whatever reason.
Sounds great.
So we've got
really good tip. Really good tip.
Good stuff. It's interesting. You wouldn't even. It was one of those like niche things you wouldn't know it existed until you needed it.
So back to the conundrum of mounting out. We have all mounting in because just like you, Anita, we have beautiful woodwork. Yeah, and we just want that to shine.
But some of these older houses don't have that.
That's right.
That's a nice way to cover that up.
That's exactly right. It also makes your window look a little bigger.
Yeah. Now, what about the plain old roller shade?
Well, I mean,
you mean like Grandmom used to have?
Yeah, but you know what? Almost everything Grandmom used to have is back.
That's right.
So,
I'll tell you the thing I like about roller shades, and I had some that I bought a long time ago, in our previous house, and it was a patterned fabric on it, and the fabric went out of style. So I just chose some fabric that went with my bedding, and I think I glued the edges, or maybe done some sort of trim on the edges, and made a new fabric cover. And I used the old liner, and I just cut it to size exactly like the old one. It clips on, and it was so super easy to make. So
charming. What a charming look.
The nice thing about those roller shades is if you want a patterned fabric window covering in your room, you can cut these yourself, change them out every year or whatever. It's super easy. And then you've got that current look if you're kind of really like the trends. And that way you can keep up with them.
And that is just such a charming look, I think.
It is charming.
I'm just thinking of that like heavy, almost plastic, right? I guess it is plastic, roller shade. So you took that and you put fabric?
No, I bought a fabric one.
A fabric one. Okay.
So I think there was a lining that I can't remember. I think the lining was sewn on the top, but it was fabric. So I took that off, detached the fabric liner, sewed a new. So it's basically it's basically like a curtain rod. It's like a rod pocket at the top that goes around the roller.
Right.
And then I just sewed the liner back on the top and then finished the edges, I think, with some sort of glue. And then there were just some plastic clips that went on it to hold it in place. So that when you rolled it up, it rolled up.
Great idea. I had a client not too long ago, and she was in a rental, and she had real sleeping issues, and then her son was having sleeping issues, and they had these cruddy old shades on there, and we explored all kinds of different options, and she really didn't know how long she was going to be in this house. So we said, well, why don't we just go? And we literally went to just a little mom and pop shop that still had the shades where they cut them to size. And I think it was about like $250 some odd dollars. She got her bedroom done, his bedroom, and an entryway.
Plus the product?
Plus the product. And the man installed it. It's, again, like one of those little shops. Like I told you about the glass shop where you get the mirror cut. You find these little mom and pop shops.
And you're talking about roller shades, right?
Yeah, it was a roller shade, but it's that big
roller
white
shades are not
plastic.
No, they're not.
They're not difficult to make, is what I'm saying. So I think it's one of the least expensive things you can use.
It was so inexpensive. And then we ended up getting just some nice drapes, some nice curtains for either side. Again, like, off the rack from TJ Maxx, Marshalls, I can't remember which, something like that. And what a difference. And it was so reasonably priced. So, especially if you're in a transitional space, or maybe you just want that shade for privacy, or you want the blackout and during the day you're going to have it up, and then you're going to have your curtains on either side. I think it's a great way to go.
Oh, yeah. I think so, too.
And like I said, it just has such a little blast from the past look.
Yeah.
Which can be just so sweet.
Yeah, retro, charming. I mean, even a little girl's room, you could put you could glue a little ruffle on the bottom, just get a little trim at Joann's or something like that.
Now that's adorable.
That's
just plain old adorable.
Yeah, like, 18 inches or whatever your window is, and just glue it on there.
Yes. Let's talk about Venetian blinds.
Venetian blinds.
A hush.
Well, I certainly grew up with those.
Yes.
So did I.
I'm not sure why they're called Venetian blinds, because I don't picture them, people like pulling them apart and looking at the gondolas. And
No,
goodness,
me either.
Oh, I looked that up.
You did not.
Did you tell?
I did.
What?
Because I'm thinking, how did they get their names? That was my thought. Like, they cannot be Italian, for heaven's sakes. It
seems like a bit of a stretch. What?
No, they were invented like in the 1700s.
Oh my!
So they've been around for a while. Yeah,
they must have been wood then. I mean, there's no way.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Ones, yeah.
I'm sure they weren't mini blinds or plastic blinds either. But yeah, they were invented a long time ago.
Wow.
Well, and the reason why you can think about this is because the Venetian blinds that have the large slats. They were very popular in colonial times. Like, we go to colonial Williamsburg or down to Philadelphia to some of the historic homes, and they have those big slatted wooden blinds, and those look they're beautiful.
So like Venetian blinds, you can open and close them.
They
the same
are.
way.
Yep.
Wow.
That's exactly
But when I think
right.
of Venetian blinds, I think of like the 1-inch metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That we grew up
that's
with.
what
That make that kind of tinny sound.
Yes, that
But
clanky sound.
in one of our houses, I had ordered some wood blinds, but they were the big. were big slats.
Those are
and they have the nice,
beautiful.
pretty decorative tape on them. So
Yes,
I
yes,
you can do some
yes.
things with those.
And you know what? Even the Venetian blinds. I mean, if they're nice and clean, something they seem to. Maybe you notice the dust more, but I remember.
Yeah, I think they're fine. Yeah,
my grandma had those, and my mom used to help her clean them, and she would actually take them off and put them in the bathtub. My mom's very thorough. You give my mom a cleaning job, and it is going to get done right.
Well,
The apple
nice
doesn't
thing about-
fall far from the tree.
Yeah,
Kelly.
she's not.
nice thing about
She's
the
not going to
blinds-
sweep it with a cloth and call it a day. She's taking them off, put them in the tub, suds them up, and and put it back up.
Well, and I think the thing people like about these blinds, Venetian blinds, mini blinds, any of these kind of blinds, wood blinds, is the same thing. You can pull them up and they'll go all the way up to the top. And I really do like some sort of solution where they almost disappear.
Yes, I agree with you. However, some are way more attractive than others.
I will agree with you on that one. Yes.
Yeah,
Do we touch vertical Venetian blinds? Like
on
vertical
the
blinds.
Yeah, they were
On the
really
vertical.
popular in
Well, I had
the
those
80s.
in the 80s. I don't
They
know.
do the job. They do the job.
They weren't my favorite, but you know.
Okay, I have a little story. I briefly dated someone whose brother installed Venetian blinds, and as a result thereof, my mother and father got a great deal on a house full of Venetian blinds in the early 80s.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
Kelly, I thought you were going to say you invented who invented vertical blinds.
Yeah,
You dated somebody who invented.
I invented the guy
What was wrong with you?
I dated the guy who invented Venetian blinds, in my first life, in 17, whatever. No, yeah. So my mom and I still joke about that. We were like, she was like, "Yeah, you went on like 4 or 5 dates with him, just enough for me to get my blinds installed." But then we say, "Oh, right," but the karma was that they were vertical blinds.
So you didn't,
That is it.
and
That
then you
is
didn't
it.
like him, but you couldn't break up with him because your mom hadn't gotten her blind yet.
Right? I was like, "Mom, how many more
5-date
rooms?"
limit for that, right?
Exactly.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, but they didn't have that house very long. But that was very high. I mean, they were building it in the 80s, and
that was
very
the height
hot
of
then.
style. That's exactly right. Well, today hot styles, I would say, are the wooden roll up blinds,
Like the
you?
natural woven.
Yes, yes.
Ooh,
yes.
Anita, we're hot, hot, hot.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
but
we
you know
all
me.
are.
I don't care. I mean,
I know you don't. Do you have vertical blinds somewhere in your house? If you
I
don't
don't.
care,
I
okay.
don't. No, I care about what looks good to me. I
Yes.
just don't care if and nobody else agrees. That's all.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you on that. It's got to work for you. Who really cares?
What about Roman shades?
I think they're
Love
pretty.
Roman
I mean,
shades.
it depends on the fabric. I mean, if the fabric is dated looking, then the shades are going to look dated.
That's exactly
But if you
right.
have a fabric that is current, I think they can be very stylish.
And if you have mini blinds, you can go online, like YouTube or whatever, and you can see how to convert your mini blinds into Roman shades.
Whoa!
Yes. Haven't you seen those?
No, but
And they're
you
not
I
are
would like to see the
intriguing me.
Venetians and the Romans go at it. See what happens.
Very clever. But anyway, it doesn't look like it would be that terribly hard. I mean, it's not a beginner project, but I've seen them, and I think Roman shades can look
Intermediate or
beautiful.
advanced? What do you think?
Well, I think you just need you need patience more than anything
Oh.
to go walk through it. But I think they could be beautiful.
I mean, I could see how that could happen in a very, vague sense. I can see how you could probably pull that off.
You can use
Okay.
the mechanisms
Right,
from the mini
right.
blinds to become
Oh, I
Roman
see.
blinds.
Somehow you slide where the strap comes through, and somehow that becomes
Yeah,
attaches
and
the
make
fabric.
it to the little rings that you usually put on.
Yeah.
And that's
Roman
what I'm saying.
shades.
Even with
Oh.
the roller shades, if you couldn't find some of these, the mechanism by itself, you could just buy a cheap, plastic one and then just tear it off, but use that as your pattern. To make
Well,
the fabric
also you can
Right.
put fabric right on these
Oh yeah,
roller
attach it.
shades.
Yeah, that's true. You could
And
just
if you could do something really beautiful, like
Yeah.
a grass or something, some kind of a natural fiber that would be gorgeous.
That's true. You could put it on there. I think that's a great idea.
Wow. I think that is a good idea.
And I think people get so stuck with shades and blinds and rollers and things like that because it's like an afterthought. Okay, we've got to cover our windows primarily to block out the sun or to give some privacy. And it's like you don't know what to do, like what's going to look nice. But, it's really important how they look as well, because they've got to go with your room and whatever, if you have curtains. So you want that whole look to be very cohesive. So you've got to take the whole package instead of, oh yeah, we got to put something up. Let's put, mini blinds, or let's put cellular shades, or let's put organic wooden shades up. So you just have to know what your style is to make it look nice as well.
Yeah,
right.
and it's not inexpensive, unless you're doing these little roll-ups. It's pretty, it's an investment, so you want to get it right.
It is.
Right, and you want to make sure you select something that you're going to be okay with as far as the light coming through, because like I said, the plantation shutter's gorgeous, but even when they're with the slats all the way open, they do block a lot of light.
Anita, we were thinking, again, our house is over 20 years old, and when we first moved in, we were thinking about putting plantation shutters in the front of our home, and I did a little research and, called a few people, and they said it blocks a quarter of your light.
Oh, see, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
But,
so that just did it for me.
Well, see, if you have a lot of light streaming in anyway, that may be okay. But if the room maybe tends to be a little dark anyway, then, you really need to think about it.
You are so right.
Well, that's why I really suggest to anyone when you're either moving into a new place or you're contemplating changing it, it might not be something you've really been consciously thinking about. Spend some time thinking about not only the look, but focus on what's happening in the room at different times of the day, particularly if you're a person who's maybe is away at work all day long and then you come home. And so then you really just have, the evenings and then the weekends, right? If you're moving into a new location or you're building a house or you're just even thinking about changing out the window coverings that you have now, put that at the forefront of your mind and really think about it and check different times of the day the way the light comes in before you make your final decision. This is now pushing 18 months or so that we've been in this house. And other than the living room, which I, kind of got in hand right away and knew what I wanted, we're just getting to putting up things, permanent things. I had something tacked up here or a tension rod over there, and some windows, nothing.
Put some thought into it.
And because it's really important. And, like we're saying, for some of these things, you could maybe get away on the cheaper side. But if you're going to invest in some custom blinds or shutters or shades, it's an expensive proposition. So you want to get it right. And
there's a lot of wisdom in that tip.
I wanted to mention, which is really important, and maybe people don't think about. Think about what it looks like from the outside of your house.
Oh, yes.
So important.
Because if you've got, some different rooms, particularly in the front, and one room is this pattern, and one room is this pattern, and one room's going to have the shades up all the time, and the other one needs to have them at half mast all the time. You might want to consider doing a lining for each one that's the same.
But it's all the same, right?
So from the outside, it doesn't look like all this busyness. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. We're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants.
And it will if you don't do that. Well, girls, I just want to remind everybody that of our sponsor, Canvas People, who are so nice in giving away one free 11 by 14 canvas to anyone who orders and uses the code decorating.
And they're just paying for shipping.
They just pay for shipping. That's right.
Cool.
Well, we're done for today. That's all the time we have. So we want to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Hey there. If you're loving our podcast like we're loving our podcast, we would love you to rate and review us. Head to iTunes to do that. It's easy, and it would mean so much to us. And if you do rate and review us, we're going to enter you to win a fantastic giveaway. The details for the giveaway are in the show notes for this episode, and you can find the show notes at decoratingtipsandtricks.com.